After completely overhauling the roster at this year's trade deadline, there was a lot of decisions that Masai Ujiri and Bobby Webster had to make regarding this roster in order to fortify this team to close out this season. And then that's led to a lot of signings, a lot of 10 days, a lot of different contracts, and that trend continues here now at this point, as Masai Ujiri has decided to sign DJ Carton to a two-way contract, which again, fills that sort of JFL spot, which we'll dive into in this video, how it impacts the team and why I'm actually pretty happy about this signing. Additionally, a former Toronto Raptor also found a home today as Jeff Dowtin Jr. ended up going home to Nick Nurse. So lots of stuff to dive into in this video, but before we do, folks, again, if you want to stay up to date with all of the latest Toronto Raptors news, and it feels like there's been lots of little transactions, lots of tweaks happening over the last week or so, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We are very close to 34,000 subscribers. I think we're only about 40 away, so make sure you hit that subscribe button if you're part of the 55% that haven't hit that sub yet, so we can hit that cool milestone for the channel. But let's dive into the news, because the first thing we're taking a look at is the Raptors making another signing. Now, DJ Carton's a guy that was brought in on a 10-day deal, and a lot of people just kind of overlooked it, said, hey, the Raptors are running through a few 10-day contracts lately. Justice Winslow was brought up to the team. Mahamadou Gay was another guy that, had his little 10 days with the Toronto Raptors, got sent back down, and we realized that those were almost rewarding the Raptors 905 guys, because when you get that 10-day contract, you make an extra, I think, $170,000 I read. So, that was more of a reward. We didn't see them much on the court at all, during their tenure with the Toronto Raptors within the 10-day deal. So we thought, hey, is DJ Carton really a guy that could fit on this team, that could find his footing, or will he just be another one of those 10-day dudes? Well, reports have come out today that basically the Raptors signed former 10-day player to a two-way contract. The Toronto Raptors have signed DJ Carton to a two-way contract following the expiration of his 10-day contract. So he found his footing, he's found his spot with the team, and the Raptors had an opening at the two-way spot because, as we broke down in a recent video, Javon Freeman-Liberty, he ended up signing a contract, an actual team contract, because so there was some confusion about this in the comment section, so I'll clear that up here now. You have official sort of Toronto Raptor roster spots, NBA roster spots, where they can play as many games as they want, they can have as many opportunities and things like that, and they get paid, league minimum. But also on an NBA roster, you have two-way contracts, where it's a mix of a contract between the main roster, the Toronto Raptors, as well as the G League team, the Raptors 905. So they can only play a specific amount of games with the main roster. There's back and forth stuff, there's lots of different rules. So the two ways and the main roster, they're a little bit split along those lines, and Javon Freeman-Liberty ended up getting a full-out contract with the Toronto Raptors, a multi-year deal, whereas DJ Carton, who was on just a 10-day, almost a tryout sort of contract, is now officially in a two-way spot with this Toronto Raptors team. And I'm pretty encouraged about this, because we already broke down sort of what he brings to the table. In the NBA's G League, he's been putting up some pretty ridiculous stats. I mean, I believe it's Iowa's a specific team, averaging 21 points per game, making some 7 assists per night, 3 rebounds, really efficient shooting, 43% behind the three-point line. So he's a guy that's definitely improved, or that's the 2023-2024. Yeah, so he can knock down shots. He's athletic. We've seen some nasty dunks from him. Just a guy that can come in at that guard spot and just be a very, very solid contributor for this Toronto Raptors team. And in the most recent game the Raptors played, Carton actually got real NBA minutes, not just sort of the end of the bench, last minute of the game. He did get those as well, or at least 1 minute end of the game, but had 5 actual minutes of rotation time. And even though his plus minus wasn't great, from the eye test, from what we saw out there, looked really good. Got 5 points himself. He had a nice lob to Grady Dick, and I thought he just did a really good job at, running the offense for the Toronto Raptors, because even though we are loaded at the guard position here now at this point, we have RJ Barrett, we have Emmanuel Quickley, we have Gary Trent Jr., we have Bruce Brown, we have Grady Dick, we have JFL now here on the main roster. Obviously, Scotty Barnes played a bit of guard stuff before he went down with injury and is probably shut down for the rest of the season, right? The Raptors have a ton of guys. Jordan Nwora is another player that probably wants minutes. We have Garrett Temple, who is a vet on this team that could potentially get run at some point too. There's a lot of guards on this Toronto Raptors team, but most of those guys, with the exception of Emmanuel Quickley, are mainly sort of twos, combo guards, not natural point guards, whereas Carton can come in, shoot the basketball for sure, knock down the three-point shots, get some buckets, but is a facilitator, is an actual point guard. So he might get some actual run at that PG position to close out this year, and it's a very just intriguing piece. I like his athleticism. I like the development we've seen from him, over his G League stints in terms of doing his thing out there, getting some run up there. So I don't know. I'm pretty hyped with DJ Carton getting signed to this Toronto Raptors team and what it could happen going forward. Now with Scottie Barnes sort of out of the lineup, I don't predict the Raptors are going to be winning a ton of games. Now, I hope I'm proven wrong. We make a little run, playoff run, make things work. But if that's not the case, then going the development route and having Carton on as a two-way guy, these two-way guys are going to get opportunities to close out the season to see who's deserving of an actual roster spot going forward in the future. So we'll see how that all plays. We'll see how that all shakes out. But one guy that probably at least a lot of Toronto Raptors fans thought deserved and earned a roster spot last season is Jeff Dowtin Jr. And a former Toronto Raptor finds his home with Nick Nurse, and that is Jeff Dowtin. As news basically came out today that Jeff Dowtin Jr., he's going to the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, when he ended up getting cut, ended up not making the roster early on in the season for the Toronto Raptors, he ended up going to the Delaware Bluecoats, or his G League rights were originally with Orlando, but when he went back to the G League, basically Orlando traded his G League rights to the Delaware Bluecoats, which is the Philadelphia 76ers G League roster. So he's been basically in that farm system for the past, most of this season, and it's been playing pretty well. And now today he got rewarded as basically Shams came out and revealed that the Philadelphia 76ers are signing guard Jeff Dowtin Jr. to a two-way NBA contract out of the first place Delaware Bluecoats affiliate. Dowtin, who played with Nick Nurse in Toronto, averaged 21 points per game. That's okay. I'm mistaken. This is a mistake in my aspect of the video. I pulled up Jeff Dowtin Jr.'s stats here, I believe. I'm not sure. Actually, I'm not sure what's going on. No, we're good. We're good. These are Jeff Dowtin Jr. stats. We're all fine. But he's been putting up some really solid stats for the Delaware Bluecoats. As Shams sort of just revealed it, just broke it all down. 18 points per game. I'm not sure what Shams these numbers are coming from. The stats are going all over the place here now at this point, but he's been in his last 12 G League games. That's what's mistaken me there. But basically, Jeff Dowtin Jr., overall 18 points per game, putting up similar numbers to what he did with the Raptors 905, but we all know what Jeff Dowtin Jr. can do, and I'm happy that he's finally finding his footing in the actual NBA, because as I kind of mentioned, as I alluded to, he's one of those guys that I thought deserved a Raptors roster spot to start off this year. Garrett Temple's a nice vet to have. It's been a nice locker room presence, but I thought Jeff Dowtin was a guy that sort of earned his footing, earned his spot in the NBA, and I was surprised the Raptors didn't keep him around, given how well he played for the Toronto Raptors in the second half of last season. Now, things did end up working out because given all the trades, given everything I just discussed, the Raptors are loaded now at that guard spot, that combo guard position. So there's less of a need for Jeff Dowtin Jr. now than there may have been, coming into this season when we were running Malachi Flynn as the backup point. I guess we had Dennis Schroeder as well, but I guess Dennis Schroeder was starting. So it is what it is. This Raptors team, it feels like we've had 3 entire rosters, a full wave, a full transition in terms of players just this season. And happy Jeff Dowtin Jr. found his footing. Happy that DJ Carton ended up getting signed to the Toronto Raptors. But let me know what you guys think about all these moves going on around the NBA. I feel like the signings might slow down here now at this point, but we'll see. The Raptors are in the playoff spot, so maybe they'll, be able to pull in guys. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. You guys have the best to make this far. Subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. Anyways, I'm signing out. Cheers.